As I told you, this isn't the best of the three sources you will use. It's actually the least of the three sources you will use. We'll read in Tim Keller, a chapter of Tim Keller, who is a brilliant man, and then we'll listen to a sermon by Dr. Jim Eckman. So that will take you deeper into this subject. However, I still want to see something of this in your answer, in your reasoning. So, to that end, I think it'll be more helpful for you to complete these questions than use the book itself to find.
Parts version 3 foundation for the rest of it. I guess it says it just tells you the basics. So.
Right.
Like the reason why God allows free choice is because God wants us to love Him, right? And so you need to establish that first before you get on to all the other questions. So I would just use it.
So where did we end with the appendix? So we went through the first 4 questions. Some of these are from what we read yesterday. So you might have to look back in the book a little bit. But why hasn't God defeated evil yet? Why does He allow it to persist? You see it. Yes.
Because one reason we all want is
Right. We are in that category. That would have to be swept away. I don't know if you've ever prayed this kind of prayer where you're asking God for something and you're kind of giving Him the details and the when and all of that. God does not kowtow to our timetable. He has His own time. And He knows what He's doing. And our job is to trust that. To trust even when it seems that it's not true, that God knows what He's doing. I mean, to ask that question is to ask to know the mind of God, which is something that we can't do. Because we're finite creatures. So God has His own time. And then what was the point they were making with heaven being like the winning locker room? Yes.
that like the whole team gets to celebrate the win, but the people that win, they compare it to like the starter MVP or whatever, like the people that are more in for God or like active or use those things, are the ones that like feel the win more deeply because they put so much work into it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So the people that were most active in that victory feel it more keenly than the water boy. But the water boy's still really excited, right? Or the person that didn't play as much.
So is it okay to be someone that doesn't quote unquote play as much? Like doesn't do particularly like help out?
Yeah.
I'm not saying like choose as that.
Everybody gets a work ring. Everybody gets the, if you win the Super Bowl or the NBA championship or anything like that, everybody on the team, and not just like the players, everybody. And if you've ever been in a team sport, every person on the team has a role, right? And for some people, that role is to work hard and be prepared to play in the game. For other people, it's to prepare those people who are playing. And every single person on the team referred to this pretty personally as a former athlete and current coach, that every player is equally important. But when you get that victory, or if you hit that winning shot, right, that buzzer beater, there's an even greater thrill. And then number 7, how can good come from evil?
God can redeem it truly, and so with us, we might, if we were God or had the place of God, we might want to prevent all evil, but God can redeem that evil to good, and He has a plan eternally for anything that happens, good or bad.
Absolutely. God is our Redeemer, right? He even redeems things that happen to us that are not able to be redeemed.
Success is the product of things learned from misunderstanding, and misunderstanding is also a mistake. And in the same way, the way to build virtue is to learn virtue, to learn from people is have virtue, and to have virtue that is evil. And so in the same way, the product of virtue comes from the conception of evil, because evil is more so a lack of it rather than the substance of itself, similar to
Yeah, C.S. Lewis says that God speaks to us um, in our happiness, but he yells at us, not yells at us, but he speaks forcefully in our pain. And if you've ever learned a lesson from a hard lesson, that's probably the lesson you learn the best, right? That's probably the lesson that you're most grateful for, even though it was hard. Were you going to say something more? Okay. Yes.
I think like God has a way of like using consequences to kind of help us. And even in cases where it's like, oh, this tragedy fell on me and I had no role in it, even when you do, like it's showing how there's like an evil going part of you, but like you have every opportunity thanks to him to like overcome that and learn from those consequences.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. God's able to use the hard times of our life powerfully, and somehow in a way that I can't describe or completely understand, suffering accelerates spiritual growth. And uh, like my sister, who I think I told you this before, my older sister, they lost everything to a fire. Their house literally burned to the ground. And all they had was what they had on their backs and what was in their car. And not too many weeks after that, she said to a group of women who were giving her a shower, a new home shower kind of thing, that God has blessed us not in spite of the fire, but because. If you've ever been through a really hard thing, you probably understand that. I didn't understand that statement at first. I do now, but you probably understand that statement. Is it true that God allows bad things to happen to good people? Yes.
not exactly
That's assuming that we are good people. But there is none righteous, no, not one. My nephew Tim, who's in Cubbies, recited it. There is none. No, none. Now, if they didn't pass him, I would have passed him. He was so cute. But he had it right, right? There's no one righteous. There's none righteous. but also a sinner. So there's no such thing as good people. But the other thing is that God is omnipotent. So who are we to say that we have some sort of power over every situation? I mean, we can't make those determinations. Only God can. And then often we are the cause of our own problems, and then we blame God. Is that not true? So you smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day for 40 years, and you blame God because you got cancer. That's not God's fault. That's not God's fault, right? It's the own person's fault. Yes.
It's an interesting thing with like mental health, even like from my own experience, like you can talk about as much as you want, like the circumstances defining like how you make decisions, like how you feel about something or how you react, but like ultimately there's a point where you're standing in your own way. And I get that at times, but it's very much like you kind of have to accept the fact that you have a lot more autonomy and like over how you can move on from something rather than like how things happen.
Good. And then number 9, what are the 5 options God had in creation, and explain why this world was created in the best possible way? So what are the 5? Yes.
First one is that he wouldn't
Create it. Want to go through all?
Yes, yeah.
Like the
The second option is that he would create a non-free world of robots. The third is that he'd create a free world where we wouldn't sin. The fourth is that he would have created a free world where we would sin, but everyone would accept God's salvation. Or that he would create a world that
What's wrong with all of them except for number 5?
not like really.
There's in some way our free will, our ability to choose, is truncated, is removed, and that's not love, right? So if I say, tell me I'm the best teacher ever.
You're the best teacher.
So she doesn't believe that.
I mean, you have a gun to her head, so like, I don't think.
But is she saying that freely? She may or may not believe it, but she's not saying it freely. She's got.
May or may not die.
So there's no such thing as forced freedom, right? There's no such thing as forced freedom. And God wanted us to love Him. And any other way, we might revere Him, we might be afraid of Him. We wouldn't love Him. Love has to be a free choice to be loved. Without free choice, there is no love. For God so loved the world that He gave His only Son, and His only Son so loved us that He freely gave His life. We have to have that freedom in order to choose. So it's the only way that God can be both loving and just and have a relationship with us. Any other way, those 3 things can't be true. One of them might be, but not all of them. So the engage on 110 says, taking into account what you've learned in this dialogue between the Christian and the atheist, how would you respond to the question if there really is an all-good, all-powerful God, and how does He allow evil? And what I would like for you to do, we won't talk about this, but what I would like for you to do is just write. It doesn't have to be a paragraph. It doesn't have to be, but just write everything you can think of, because this will be helpful to you. Whatever you write here will be helpful to you when you go to write. Does that make sense? So spend the rest of the hour doing that. If you don't get it done, maybe work on it over the weekend. But we won't have time in class. It just means write down whatever comes to mind. When you write, your free write, it isn't, free write is just, has fewer parameters of how it,
That gonna like be
it's not an
no, it's
essay.
for other stuff. I don't know if she was here yesterday.
Oh, well, I need to get you the assignment, that'll make far more sense to do that.
Can I have a rubric? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hand out the rubric, I handed out the
Instructions.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Well, this is like,
This is like a project.
we have to use.
There's nothing to take yet, anytime else. Anybody else besides? Roy, did I? Yes. Okay, that's it. Okay.
What does this do?
I don't know yet, but it's not. Because this is the only thing
And
we're
when
doing.
is the
We
final?
still have 2 more sources to go.
Pretty much this question.
It's really close to that. Then the other thing is that as we go through each of these things, write stuff down that you can use to write your assignment.
How many days are Reynolds gonna be able to watch?
Because I think
Thursday's a half day.
Monday's a half day.
Like, I think it'll be easy, it's just over these.